Today we're going to be doing ourselves a cheap and delightful dish, but not a $10 meal. We're actually going to be doing ourselves a spicy chicken bake. So we're actually going to be serving it with some Mediterranean veg, and we're going to have some lovely spices in there. We're going to have a little bit of curry powder, cumin, coriander, garlic, herbs. And in addition, we're going to boil off some potatoes as well, cube them up, and then we're going to roast them off as well to go with it, and then the chicken thighs on top. And then as the chicken thighs come out of the oven, we're going to give them a nice little squeeze of lemon juice as well to finish it off. And then just finishing that dish with a yogurt, mint, coriander, or cilantro. If you want to call it cilantro, that's fine. And lime yogurt to go with it. So hope you guys and gals are going to enjoy it today. First thing we need to actually probably do is pretty much prep up that chicken. So we need to trim the fat. We're going to get that seared off in a bit, not just yet though. But when we put the roasted vegetables in the tray, we're actually going to put the chicken on top, so it gets all that flavor, so all the veggies soak up all that chicken flavor from there, so it'll roast off at the same time. So lots of lovely flavors. So let's get the chicken out. We're going to prep that up. So when I said trim the fat, this is what I meant by trimming the fat, is just laying the thigh out and just trimming off just the excess that we don't want, just to kind of shape it up so it's all good to go. That's all we're pretty much doing. If you want to leave the fat on, that's fine. For me, it's just terrible practices to leave like that stuff on there. So we're going to take it off. And then I'm just going to pop them onto a plate, ready to go. And then we're going to start prepping up the potatoes first before the veggies. Because we need to part blanch the potatoes. We're going to cube them up. We're going to obviously wash them, peel them, cube them, and they should be good to go. I'm going to say about 4 to 6 medium size. These are not medium size, these are tiny. So probably going to go about 6 to 8. So I'm going to wash these up. I may as well just take the board straight over with me. Let's give these a little wash. Let's give these a peel down. And we're also going to get a large pan out as well to put these in. And then we're just going to boil them. Once they're cubed up, this should take about 5 minutes from boiling. So you just basically want it into small little cubes. These are quite small potatoes. And we're going to pop these into the pan. If you cut these like quite thick and they're quite chunky, they're obviously going to take more time. But if you cut them roughly the same size, they should all cook down the same time. But just bear in mind how big you're cutting them, so it really kind of determines how long you're really going to cook these for. Keep an eye on those. Make sure they come up to the boil. Once they are boiling, put a timer on for about 5 minutes. And if you want to like test, how do you know when they're done? How do you know when they're soft? So basically, get a spoon, pretty much pick one of them up, and just have a feel, and just have a little like light squeeze with them. And if you lightly squeeze and your fingers go straight through, take them straight off. They're overdone. But if they're like holding their shape, but if you put enough pressure on them, they're just going to kind of crush in your hands. So that's where we want to kind of take them to the point of like, if you kind of tumble them in the colander, they're going to kind of rough up a bit and they're going to go kind of floury. That's where you want it perfectly, because they're going to turn out really nice and crispy. We're going to do the veggies next, I think. So we're going to get out the Mediterranean veg. So let's get them on the go. So basically, you just want to chop up the eggplant or aubergine down into cubes. Alright, so we're going to cut these down into cubes as well. Nothing too fancy, just a nice little rough chop. This is quite a lot of aubergine and eggplant, so if it's quite a large one, maybe half. It's really hard to determine to say, oh yeah, one eggplant or aubergine, because sometimes you get really small ones, sometimes you get really large ones, so really kind of want to keep an eye on that. So I'm just going to chuck this all onto the tray. Right, so what we're going to do, trim these up, take the seeds out. Right. Oh, we don't want to chop this up really small, do we? Just want to chop them up roughly. So, and also if you've got a bit of pith in there, just take it off. So, and just roughly chop these up. Don't go too thin. So, I'm probably just going to use one of these because I don't want to overfill that tray. But if you've got a nice, large, deep tray, I'd probably recommend having another courgette. And obviously, if you have a large aubergine, I'd probably say more of a smaller aubergine. You don't want to go super crazy like I have. So just roughly chop these up however you want. And then we're just going to basically lay over the top the chicken once we sear them off. So as the chicken kind of pretty much cooks down, all those beautiful flavors from the chicken will go into the veggies as well. So because this is like overloaded tray, I'm going to pop this into a large bowl and then we can mix all the flavors and spices in there and then put it back into the tray. So grab our microplane and we'll grate down the 4 garlic cloves. I'm going to mix them up into the veggies. Right, garlic's in there. We need to get the spices, so I'm going to go for 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of paprika? Yeah. 2 teaspoons of paprika. I want 2 tablespoons of curry powder, because that's going to be the main thing. I also want 2 teaspoons of coriander. And 2 teaspoons of cumin as well. We also want a good pinch of salt in there as well. So 2 tablespoons of veggie oil. We need to chop up a little touch of rosemary, chat. Right, let's dice down that rosemary. Right, let's give this a mix. Right, okay, so those veggies are done, so we can get those onto the tray. Frying pan, non-stick pan, whatever it takes your fancy. Let's get the chicken out, shall we? Right, just a little smidge of oil. We don't want too much oil because you've got the fat content on the skin, so I'm just going to wait for that to heat up. So just waiting for that to heat up. Once that's nice and hot, we're going to start searing off that chicken and getting some nice golden colors on the skin. So roughly, I'd say roughly about 5 minutes or so on the skin, and then maybe 2 minutes on the other side. And then we're going to put the chicken on top of the veggies. Right, I'm not going to try and shove all 4 in there. I'm going to do the first 3 and then do the last one. Excuse me. And then that should be good to go. Crisping it up, getting it nice and golden. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that make you happy, chat? Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. Nice, crispy, delicious skin on that chicken. Let's get our potatoes on the go. Just drain them off. So when I said like almost like floury and almost like kind of breaking apart, can you actually see that right there? Can you see them? They're like really kind of floury on the edges, but they're still holding their shape. That's how you want it. You don't want it any more than that. And when you shake it, can you see it's not quite breaking up, but they're just like going rough on the edges. That's going to add a really nice crispness to your potato. And as I said before, 5 minutes for this. Oh, that's 10, chef. There you go. There's 5. 5 minutes from boiling. Good to go. And they should be roughly about this size. If you go any bigger, obviously it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes. So just bear that in mind. So we're going to top this up. Sorry. We're going to top this up with a little bit of oil. Canola oil, peanut oil, whatever takes your fancy. Now, the most tasty one, but the most unhealthiest, probably be duck fat or goose fat. Do you know what I mean? But they make so tasty potatoes. Definitely. All right. So about 4 tablespoons or so of that in there. And what we're going to do is just gently drop these down. Hopefully it doesn't overfill too much, because you want to kind of space these out. I'm not too concerned about the veggies being overfilled, but the potatoes, they need to have a little bit of space so they can crisp up. So super important. I'm just going to let them cool down a little smidge so we can just give them a coat, and so that should be perfect in there. Need a touch of salt on there as well. I know I've already salted the water, but I'm just going to add a smidge more. I'm not going to go too salty with it. I know I can be a salty chap at times. It's okay. But we're going to add a little touch of salt on top of these potatoes here. So potatoes are going in. Chicken and veggies, delicious. So as I said, 40 minutes, chicken and veggies will be done. The potatoes might need a touch longer until they're nice and crispy. So if you need to leave them in for a bit longer, that's fine. But because they're such a smaller cut, they should cook around about the same time, or not too much longer, if that makes sense. And then we're going to start making the mint, coriander, and lime yogurt to go with this. I've got some mint. It's not great. I'm going to wash it. My mint is dying on me, unfortunately, and this is the only mint I've got. I've had a taste of it. It's okay. It's a little on the grey side, but it's okay. So I've washed it. It's not as bright green as it should be, but yeah, I'm going to actually get rid of this top bit of the leaf. That's not very good. But we can use some of it. Some of it. And it's still got the flavour in there. And just really disappointed. It's just like kind of dying on me. So this will make do for today. Right, let's pick this down a little bit. I'm going to dice this up. Don't want to go too wild with the cilantro or coriander. I know the British like to call it coriander. So watch your fingers. Using your middle finger for a little bit of guidance. And I'm not talking about flipping people off in the car. I'm talking about using the blade for a bit of guidance for your knife. So using your finger for a bit of guidance for the knife, sorry. So just slice that up nice and fine and watch your fingers. We're going to go for about 3 or 4. Depends on how many you're doing. I think 3 is going to be ample enough for us today. Put the herbs in there. We're going to get the vinegar, and we're also going to get the honey as well. So watch your fingers with the knife. So 2 teaspoons of honey, and I also want 1 tablespoon of cider vinegar. And oh, actually, I am missing half a lime juice in here as well. Little touch more honey, because I thought I'd need to add another honey because of the lime. Just 1 more teaspoon. Don't want too much in there. So 3 teaspoons of honey. Just want that flavor of lime rather than too much acidity. So you just want to basically just turn these over just so they rotate a little bit. Potatoes, need a little touch longer. But those, the chicken, it's very delightful. Oh my goodness me, chat. Look at this. Wonderful. Beautiful chicken. Oh my goodness me. Smell the flavor. Oh, that roasted veggies. Goodness me. These are looking very delightful. Crispy, crispy potatoes. And then we want to go for that beautiful veggie. Spicy veg. Chicken thigh to go on top. So there is our spiced chicken bake. So we did the potatoes. So we washed them, we peeled them, we cubed them, and we boiled them for about 5 minutes from boiling. And we added a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking soda for you Americans. And then we drained them off, fluffed them up in the colander. So you just basically want to cook them to a point where they're holding their shape, but they fluff up on the outside. We put them onto a tray, 2 to 4 tablespoons of oil. I think it was 4 tablespoons of oil we put on there. Give them a coat, salt, in the oven for about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. As for the chicken, we prepped the chicken, trimmed the fat off it, and then we seared them off. But before we did that, we did the veggies. So we did med veg of aubergine or eggplant, courgette or zucchini, and bell peppers, green and red. So we chopped them up roughly, put them into a big bowl because we needed to mix them up, and we added 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, 2 tablespoons of curry powder. We also put in some diced rosemary, about 2 tablespoons of oil, just to coat them up. Flat out on the tray, then we seared off the chicken with a bit of salt on the skin. It's all golden for about 5 minutes and then 2 minutes on the other side. On top of the veggies, that was in the oven for about 40 minutes. And then we just finished it off with a mint, lime, and coriander yogurt, or cilantro if you want to call it that. So 3 to 4 tablespoons of yogurt, 3 teaspoons of honey, a tablespoon of cider vinegar to bring up the flavors, and obviously the honey to balance the acidity. And then half a lime juice, and also the coriander and the mint, and that's it. Pretty much it. So very delightful, very easy, straightforward dish to do. Very tasty as well, full of flavor. Oh, a bit of the potatoes, the veggies. It's so good. The crunchy potatoes. Oh my goodness me. The fresh veggies. The med veg. That yogurt just cuts straight through all of that. It's not too fatty, but cuts through all the flavors and the fat and gives you a nice little freshness to it, which is actually really delightful. So let me get some of this chicken now. So look, the chicken is nice and juicy. I can hear it. Oh yeah. I'm gonna dip into some of that yogurt. Bit of veggies. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's just so good. Take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you Monday for some more Twitch. But anyway, chat. All the loves, thank you for the support, and take care for now. Bye for now, my friends.